So now Donald Trump is saying there is no more ceasefire with Iran. I think he has had it up to here. He is done with them. Just a couple weeks ago when the MOU was announced, I was highly skeptical, as I'm sure many of you were. But I'm going to step back and I'm going to settle in a little bit what we're even talking about here and get behind the veil. Because, there's the war with Iran, and there's a lot of people on the woke right that are pushing just this sympathizing with Islam and pushing against Jewish people and pushing against Israel. And that's kind of like the mantra. But like, if we actually take a step back and put aside all these people's agendas and what they're talking about, what they actually believe in, where they put their money, where their mouth is, would you rather live in a state controlled by a caliphate with Islam, or would you rather live in a heavily Jewish, people-loving Israel location? I mean, just there. Would you rather live in Boca Raton, or would you rather live in Dearborn, Michigan? I mean, in Dearborn, Michigan, that's not even like the radical. But I mean, people in Iran, they are actually living out and carrying out what the end thought of what being faithful to their religion is. That's the way I see it. But I want to take a look. This is Donald Trump with the war with Iran and him saying that the ceasefire is done.
Have any questions?
Mr. President, is the ceasefire over? Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. We make a deal. And if I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo.
Now, when we always think about like people like on the left, because the left has been here a long time of pushing this agenda of they'll like bite your head off if you talk about people, wearing a hijab and just living out this ideology. And they get so upset of thinking about the Handmaid's Tale or whatever, that like the Christians are running everything and that these women have to wear these outfits, but then they're totally fine, with women over in all these heavily Muslim countries, that they are forced to live like that. They're forced to, they can't even speak out and have an opinion. I don't know what it is, but it always seems like it's been like that. But the new facet of all of this is that the right has completely switched, and like they're like the Tucker Carlson, heavily sympathetic with Islam. And it's not like I'm like up against like, because it's not about the people. It's not actually about the people. It's the ideology that just makes people do fanatic, crazy things if they're actually living into it. Because there's a lot of great, good Muslims, a lot better people than even Christians. But it's like, who has a better outlook on life, a better worldview, what they're actually believing in? I think that is the difference. And so I would say we have to distinguish between the radical Islamicists, the jihadists, and just normal Muslims, obviously. Because there's like Iran, there's a lot of Muslims that are probably sensible over there, but then the people that are in control, they have the power and they're carrying out what the mandate of the prophet is. And they're actually being fundamental about it and being real about it. And they can lie to the people that aren't Muslims. It's fine with them. It's a part of it. They can deceive. And I know that people characterize that like Israel or Jewish people do the same thing, maybe to an extent, but not nearly in the same degree as Islamic terrorists. Because I want to make that clear. It's about jihadist extremists. That's what it is. And to think that like just a couple weeks ago we were going into this and like it was going to be, if we say that we're going to do something, we stand by it. We shake your hand as just Americans that have Christian values. If we say we stand by it. We're not going to renege on it. We're not going to back off. We're not lying to your face at the table. But the people over there in Iran, the people in power, They have no problem with that. And I knew that Donald Trump was going to be led along and dragged along and fooled this whole time because I was so skeptical that anything could actually happen. So the way that Donald Trump has went about this and going to Iran in the first place and doing all this, that's its own thing, whether Israel pulled us there, but we're there now. We can't go back. We can't rewind history. And honestly, it doesn't even matter because what happens is what's going to happen. We can't change the fact. There is a sense where God wills it. We are there. And I'm talking about the real God. I'm not talking about when you say Allah, like as in the Muslims' God. Allah is just a word for God, but their God is not the real God. He is a fabrication. He is a creation, a man-made creation. That's why it's like, you do good. If you do enough good, you're going to get to heaven. You're going to be with me. There's not even a relationship at all. It's just it's a servant submission. And that's what Islam is. It's submission. But it's a man-made creation religion. And that's why, and ultimately, it's like who created it would be Satan. It would be satanic. It's a satanic religion. Any religion. We can focus in on like all these main false religions, whatever. But any religion that deviates, or like religion is just man-made creation of trying to get to this what we know is out there. We know is out there, and it's like to take these people seriously is just it's fake. It's silly, and I don't know. I don't know the calls that Donald Trump is going to make, if he's going to continue unleashing hell on them, and this is going to escalate more and more. But there is a sense where good men have to stand up and fight for what is right. And this is an ideology we've been fighting against for centuries. And it's not this, because what is happening on the woke right, the right side of the political aisle, is pushing that Jews, and I hear from Nick Fuentes all the time that we need to, the Jews need to go back to Israel, which I'm good with. Go back to Israel because that's your land. But to say that we don't want to live alongside Jewish people and say that they're manipulating, they're controlling us, they are who you would want to live by. People that love Israel, and I know it has become such a talking point that Israel's the only one committing mass genocide. I honestly do not see it. We see buildings destroyed, but we don't see actually what is happening. I think it is a propaganda campaign that's being put out there and pushed out there, and a lot of people are just buying into this. There are people doing the evil things at times in any government, and that doesn't exclude Israel because they are a government as well, and in this world. So you can't excuse everything. They're not doing everything perfect or blameless, but a lot of it is just, it's a campaign. And the people that are on the woke right, even like Tucker Carlson, I don't know his whole, why he is pushing this so forward and being sympathetic with Islam. I question it, but it does, like when people start pushing you towards hating Israel or just being disagreeable with Israel, no matter what the talking point is, whatever we're even discussing, if you just are against Israel automatically and you love Islam automatically, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And I think Christians, we can stand alongside people that love Israel and people that are Jewish a lot more than people that are buying into this fundamentalist, radical jihadist ideology that Islam eventually goes to. So there wasn't really never a chance that this is because we're negotiating with people that are not saying what they mean and mean what they say. As Christians in America, we if we say something, we mean it. We're not deceiving, and it goes against our theology that we are doing something wrong if we're lying to people. In Islam, there is none of that. So we're not talking about people that have at all the same values at all. They can be nice, they can be extremely hospitable, but that's why you got to distinguish between the radicals. And I just know that people would love to live by the Seinfeld, people that are Jews, because they are good, great people. Obviously anybody is evil, but if the majority, that's what I would say. You would rather live in the Handmaid's Tale of Christianity as opposed to what the reality is happening right now in a Muslim jihadist extremism that is over there, that wants to spread the caliphate into the U.S. And that's what they are coming with a sword while we're trying to negotiate with a pen. And it's like, you got to, sometimes I would say if our government decides we got to bring the sword as well. And that's their prerogative. That's not for normal, just regular people. but as a nation state, the U.S. government, the most powerful, lethal military on the earth, if we need to bring the sword as well, I say that's their call, and ultimately God's over this all. But I mean, I'm just talking about just the rational sense. We know that we would rather live by people that love peace and a real peace, like as in Jewish Israeli people, as opposed to these Muslim extremists in Iran. All right, we'll leave it at that. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.